I'm Macy Eglund. We begin with a Newsday investigation. A flip-flop from the feds over whether the town of Hempstead's housing authority was systematically discriminating against the disabled and people of color. The Department of Housing and Urban Development withdrew its claim that Hempstead used an illegal point system to award housing. Advocates described that system this way.
I have never seen anything this egregious, at least in recent history in the last, let's say, decade.
Newsday investigative reporter Josh Solomon has been working on the story from the very beginning.
1 week after Newsday found that HUD had determined that the Town of Hempstead Housing Authority had discriminated against people of color, people with disabilities for over a decade, the Federal Housing Agency put out a letter saying, actually, we're withdrawing those findings. Former HUD officials, including in the Fair Housing Office, were very troubled by this letter that the Federal Housing Agency sent. They view it as a sign of the Trump administration walking away from civil rights enforcement. HUD and the Housing Authority don't see it that way.
You can read the rescission letter from HUD and more of Josh's reporting on the story on our website, newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Only in Newsday, Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman and his gubernatorial running mate have different paths when it comes to a new state law banning ICE cooperation. A deadline for some law enforcement agencies to dissolve their ICE agreements is Tuesday. Now, Blakeman has not said what Nassau's police department will do. His running mate, Madison County Sheriff Todd Hood, ended the county's ICE agreement earlier this month. Meanwhile, Riverhead residents want the town to enact an ICE response bill. The legislation proposed by Latino advocacy group OLA of Eastern Long Island would protect public safety when federal immigration agents respond in Riverhead. Officials say there are no plans to consider it. An uncertain future for a place that offers a safe haven to domestic violence and sex assault victims. The Islandia-based nonprofit ECLI Vibes is preparing for a 50% cut in cash from the state. That's because New York's Office of Victim Services received more requests for funding than it had set aside.
The client care clinician who is assessing lethality, who is getting on the phone and having a one-on-one session, running groups with survivors, might not happen.
The cuts would impact the nonprofit's hotline, licensed social workers, and mental health counselors as well. Governor Hochul warning about the threat AI poses to office jobs mostly held by women. Speaking in Manhattan yesterday, she said artificial intelligence is especially dangerous to women in administrative roles. On the island, those roles make up about 13% of jobs. Hochul is working to develop a set of recommendations for monitoring AI's impact. All right, we've got our eye on the storm, watching some wet weather, it sounds like. Let's get the details from meteorologist Jeff Banson.
Yeah, and if you're walking outside this morning and you're seeing the sunrise, you're saying, storm on the way? How is that possible? We're actually going to take a look outside of Hampton Bays, I believe. Beautiful start to the day. And then, yes, the rain will come in quickly as we head towards this evening. So if you have beach plans today, I would say, maybe you want to pack it a little earlier, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. the latest. But this morning is going to be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, a very, very tale of two different types of days out there today. So we're looking at the satellite and radar this morning. Again, nothing going on, but you see clouds creeping in the left side of your screen here out across Pennsylvania and even some scattered shower activity. This storm is moving rather progressively. It's over the Ohio Valley right now, all of this heavy rain. Now, there were indications yesterday that you can kind of actually draw a line here. If you draw a line at the cutoff of this northern fringe of the precipitation, that would tell you that most of this rain is going to pass south of Long Island, but there is going to be a little bit more of a northern hike as these storms progress eastward. Now, the real heavy stuff looks like it's going to be down from New Jersey to the mid-Atlantic. But again, that northern fringe likely to impact us at this point. So the New York City area and western Long Island has been included in a flood watch that runs from this evening through 2 p.m. So we're going to have about a 6-hour window of some very heavy rain potential here. We're stopping this at 5 o'clock just to show you that up until that point, we are largely rain-free across the island. So later end of the commute maybe gets in on this. If you're, leaving the office at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I think you're mostly okay, especially the further east that you get across the island. But look at how these numbers kind of balloon here as we go through the midnight hour. And again, you can kind of see why the Weather Service in their thinking of western Long Island going to get the most rain here. And you can see our computer models right on par with that. The purple color indicating around 1.5 inches of rain. And then you can see this red color here for parts of New York City. And we all know how poorly New York City does with any kind of heavy rain these days. We see these crazy videos on social media, all the water rushing out of the subways and you know jamming up the storm drains and things like that. We're not in a drought situation here on Long Island, so I don't think we're getting a ton of runoff. Hopefully the ground absorbs a little bit more of this water, but again, this is a lot of rain in a fairly quick period of time because this is a fairly progressive moving storm system here. So again, 6 hours, you're talking, you know, upwards of 2 inches of rain. That can cause some problems, especially in the short term here. Really, it's about 2 to 3 hours where we're going to see that batch of the real heavy stuff between, say, the onset of the storm around 8 o'clock and then around 10 o'clock. And then things start to lighten up as we get past midnight. Unfortunately, Friday is looking damp and drizzly at this point with cloudy skies. Not looking like a washout of a day, but it's not looking like a great day. But on the flip side of things, Saturday is looking a little bit better. It's going to be cloudy with some light rain out there, but may be able to salvage parts of the day. But Sunday certainly looking like a better day. There could be a shower or a storm, but big improvements as we head into next week.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Sun Nation Energy, helping Long Islanders save on their energy bills for over 20 years.
Only in Newsday, the Mets celebrating a Long Islander who won the fight of her life. The team honored Bridget Rogers, a Stony Brook medical student and brain cancer survivor. The 25-year-old was named an everyday champion for supporting the mental health of pediatric cancer patients. The Mets surprised Bridget, a lifelong Met fan, with her favorite all-time Met, David Wright, at Citi Field yesterday.
To be able to experience what she's experienced and know firsthand what these families and these other kids need going through similar processes, I think makes her an expert, you know, in the subject.
The Mets have partnered with insurance company Guardian Life for the past 3 years to present this award. Only a Newsday, a carb lover's dream, a first ever festival for Long Island potato lovers. The Long Island Potato Festival will be at Farmingdale State College September 26th and 27th. Mark your calendars. You'll find knishes, loaded mashed potatoes, as well as baked and fried potatoes. Sounds great. There's also a beer garden. Here's the best part. Admission and parking are free. I'll get stuffed with these pull-apart Italian soul bowls. Ken Buffa continues our exclusive series, Trendy Bites, in Farmingville.
These are the pull-apart soul bowls. You can only find at La Cucina Paisanos here in Farmingville. Let's go in the back and see how they're made.
Our menu is really authentic Italian. You know, we have all the chicken parms and French heads and marsala. While we love offering that, we felt like we just needed something new and fresh and trendy.
So we're gonna do one of the bread bowls, chicken palm bowls. We prep the bowl so we can stuff it with. This is made out of pizza dough.
These are big. This is like the size of your head, dude. These are big. These are nice.
Like emoji.
Yeah.
Things over here so people grab.
Oh, so you're scoring it kind of so you can peel it apart.
Gonna throw it in the oven for a little bit. When it comes out, we're gonna season it and butter it. A little bit of grated cheese.
This is gonna be so good.
It's been really cool to, you know, create the menus, put them out, and have people coming here who only saw us on social media and heard about our bread bowl. You can choose your filling: chicken parm, alla vodka, Alfredo, Philly cheesesteak.
I think the majority of people are just blown away by the size of it.
I would recommend to try the alla vodka.
Pull us apart. There's some vodka sauce in there. The bread is so crunchy, and the garlic and the cheese make it almost like a garlic knot, and the vodka sauce is amazing. Dude, this is like a 10 out of 10.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Amazing.
Ken Buffa, Newsday TV.
Can't go wrong with bread and cheese. You can find more viral eats on our website, newsday.com. Click Get More below that Newsday TV video box. Here's what's up on Long Island. Watch world-class competition on the East End. The Hampton Classic Horse Show is back. It starts Sunday and ends on the 30th with the event's Grand Prix.
So won't you give me 3 steps, give me 3 steps,
Leonard Skinner and Foreigner are coming to Jones Beach. Their co-headlining tour, Double Trouble, Double Vision, makes its way to Wantagh Friday night at 6:30. And to see more live music at Jones Beach this weekend, The Fray and Dashboard Confessional are hitting the road together for their Summer of Light tour. They play Saturday night at 7 o'clock. For admission information and even more events, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box on our homepage. In sports, a Long Island hockey hero brought the Stanley Cup home. Jamie Stewart caught up with Brandon Bussey as he returned to where it all started to meet with some young fans.
Imagine walking into the rinks in Hop Hog and seeing the Stanley Cup.
Amazing.
Long Islanders lined up as early as 5 a.m. for the star of the day, Stanley Cup champion and Sound Beach native Brandon Bussey.
This is an unforgettable experience to see Long Island as a whole come out here to celebrate the Stanley Cup. It's something special, and I will never forget it.
Bussey's story is straight out of a Hollywood script. He spent several years in the minors, made his way onto the Carolina Hurricanes roster, and in the Stanley Cup final, when the Canes starting goalie got injured, Bussey took over in Game 3, and he never looked back.
Coming, it's Riley Smith. Hurdle, a beautiful move, stopped by Bussey.
But Bussey never forgot where he came from and where he put on the pads for the first time.
The first thing he wanted to do was go on to the North Rink where he first stepped on it the first day he put his pads on.
Why is it so important for you to jump back on the ice?
First time I ever put my goalie gear on, so it had a lot of meaning. This day is amazing.
A day Bussey and Long Islanders won't soon forget. What does it mean to you to have a Long Islander bring home the cup?
It definitely means something. I like Long Island players a lot better than other players like McAvoy, Fox, all of them. It's special. It brings the island together.
For Newsday TV, I'm Jamie Stewart.
You can see more on all of the stories you've seen today on Newsday.com and watch us streaming anytime on Local Now, YouTube, and the other streaming services you see right there. I'm Macy Eglund here with meteorologist Jeff Banson. We've got more local news. Jeff has your forecast coming up here on Newsday TV, covering Long Island like no one else can.
Join Carissa on a day cruise from Northport for a scenic tour of Long Island's North Shore,
where you could feel like you're cruising on the Mediterranean.
Let's go with Carissa Kelman at Newsday.com/cruise. Newsday, covering Long Island like no one else can.